I welcome you all to this webinar. Thanks all for taking time on a Saturday morning to join me in this webinar. And we almost have a full house today, so I'm glad to see that. We have Mr. Ramesh, Mr. Savnan, Mohammed, Sai, Persis, Kritika, Vinash, Madan, Nanda, Shivchandran, and a lot more people from Meetup Group and from other Facebook and LinkedIn channels that we have. That's a fantastic full house today. Glad to see that. I'm Amit. I'm going to be your host today for this productivity webinar. I'm currently heading Disha Strategic Solutions, a business consulting and sales training company, recognized as one of the top consulting companies in India by Consultant Review magazine. I mainly work with corporates and entrepreneurs to help streamline their sales operation and bring their sales team up to the speed through training, workshops, and stuff like that. So today we're going to discuss about sales productivity. Now, this is one of the favorite topic of mine, and that's for two different reasons. One is majority of the sales leaders and organizations, around 80% of them today, are hugely impacted due to the sales productivity issues. They have sales team, their sales team they have field sales team, inside sales team on calls, on foot, trying to get customers, but they are failing to generate any leads, or they are failing to convert those leads into real money. And that's where everybody is grappled with this issue. And the second reason of it being my favorite one is because this is the major source of revenue for our sales consulting and training services, as you would imagine, as most of the people are grappled with this issue. So I would be very excited to learn what you guys think about this. I'm just going to quickly shoot a poll and see what is your big challenge related to sales productivity. So there is a poll that's going to appear on your screen now. How do you rate your sales productivity? So if you can let me know, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. So you have 30 seconds to just take part in this poll. So how do you rate your sales productivity currently? How your team is doing in terms of lead generation and lead conversion? So we have inputs coming in. I'm going to share it with you. So if I can have all participants join in this webinar and in this poll. So fantastic. We are closing the poll. We have received all the inputs. In fact, majority of our participants took part in it. Thank you very much for that. All right. So everyone has rated their sales productivity challenge between poor and average. So we have someone said excellent also, which is very good, but that's just one vote. Rest of them, majority of the audience here that we have, all the CEOs, entrepreneurs, and leaders and managers of sales team joining in us today. Majority of their challenges, sales productivity, average performance, or below average performance. That's poor performance. So that makes this webinar a very relevant one for all of you. So let's get into solving this sticky problem that we have today. I'm going to start with what is sales productivity. So for those, it is coming out as a new topic for them. So this is going to be the agenda of the webinar. Those who are joining us right now, it's going to be the agenda. We're going to talk about what is sales productivity, why sales productivity is important for businesses, why they should take care of it, what are their top challenges that you face, and how do you measure sales productivity, and there is a Q&A session. Now in this, the key takeaway, we have someone raising a hand here. Yes, Sai, I'm going to unmute you. You can ask your question here.
Yeah, thanks, Amit. So I don't have a question right now. I was going to say something about sales productivity, but I can wait. I can wait till you finish, and I can tell you what I think as well.
Yeah, sure. We would be glad to learn your opinion as well. You want to share it now, you can do it, or you can wait till the end of the session whenever you feel convenient.
Well, so I just want to, I'll wait till the end of the session, man. I'll ask you some questions in the end.
Great. So I'm going to just put you back on mute and we can get going with this session. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the legends. So, these are some of the keywords that I would be using throughout the session that you should get yourself aware of. Sales productivity. Sales productivity is the overall efficiency of your operation. How much revenue does it producing, and how much cost or investments you are making to get that revenue or profit margins. That's how sales productivity is measured. Sales team productivity is mainly related to the utilization of the sales team, how effective they are in terms of activities they are doing and the performance they are delivering. Demand generation, it's lead generation. That's what I'm going to be referring it to. Opportunities, I would be referring it to leads, the customer accounts before the purchase. Qualified leads for me is going to be the leads that have been qualified as interested and ready to buy. Those are the qualified leads which going to be turned out as sales as being taken further into the sales process. Marketing qualified leads, it's straightforward, the leads that comes from the marketing team to the sales team, and those are qualified leads as interested leads. Sales generated leads are leads generated by sales channels like cold calling, email marketing, and stuff like that, but they are not qualified leads. So you can see that I have not used the word qualified there. Sales qualified leads are if a marketing team is handing over a lead to the sales team as qualified lead, it's marketing qualified lead, but it's not sales qualified leads. It becomes a sales qualified lead when sales confirms, yes, this lead is an interested lead and we're going to accept it. That's going to be the sales qualified lead. So these are some of the legends or the keywords I would be using during the webinar. So let's take a look at what is sales productivity. That's pretty straightforward. Sales team productivity means maximizing sales results in terms of quality of leads generation that happen by the sales team, or sales and revenue or profit margins they make, while minimizing the resources expended. So such as the cost, efforts, and time that you invest, it should be minimum and the output should be maximum, which is in terms of qualified leads or highest sales revenue or maximum profit margins. So that's sales productivity definition. Let's take a look at why sales productivity. Why is it so important for the businesses? So I'm going to ask you this. How many of you are here at this stage burning cash on sales and marketing to produce qualified leads, but just getting peanuts in return? All that investments that you're making in the marketing to generate qualified leads are going in the drain just because your sales is unable to convert those leads into sales, and you actually see no choice, no other choice rather than to keep investing the money. You feel like lost, don't know where you should change in your sales, what change you should make in your sales operation to perform, to improve its performance or efficiency. Well, if you have such kind of situations you're facing, you're not alone. 80% of the organizations are struggling with this issue. Running a sales operation involves investment of time, efforts, and money. So why sales productivity? It's first of all, if you have a bad performing operation or a poor performing sales operation, it's like dragging a dead horse. It will suck all your investments energy and will put you out of the market practically within months. That's how majority of the startups are dying today. Startups, 90% of the startup fails, and they don't fail because they don't have a good product or a good product demand. They are failing because they have a poor performing sales operation. And in fact, I did Inc. 42. If you know, they have published one of my article primarily on this. You can go and check it out on their website, inc42.com, under sales strategy category, where I have highlighted why startups, 90% of the startups are dying. It's not because of the product or anything. It has related to, directly related to sales productivity. So that's how a bad sales productive engine performs. An average performing sales operation is nothing but a slow and painful death of your business. It sucks huge amount of investments and deliver below expectations revenue and practically peanuts in the name of profit. Whereas an excellent performing, highly productive sales operation is just like a rock show, baby. This is where you just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show as your money gets printed over and over again with just limited investments and minimum efforts. That's what we are here for. Who doesn't love that, right? So this is what a highly productive sales operation looks like, and this is why it is most crucial for the organization. So that answers the question why sales productivity is so much important for businesses, because you want to minimize that investments and you want to maximize that results. So let us see where what are those levers, what are those factors that are screwing your sales rock show. Is it the tools, is it the technology, or is it the process, or what other factors are is? Just I'm going to quickly throw a poll on your screen, and I'm going to let you know, for all those who have rated that their sales productivity is average or below average, I would like to know, what do you blame it on? So there is a quick poll that's going to appear on your screen, and again you're going to have 30 seconds. So if you can participate in it, and let me know what do you think is the key factor that's pulling down the entire sales operation performance. Right, right. So we are getting inputs. Great. It's fantastic. So we have 70% of the votes received. Just waiting for others to come. And that's perfect. I'm closing down the poll. So that's the end of the poll. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you the results. The results are 70% of the audience here are rating sales team performance as the key driver that's pulling down the entire sales operation performance. And the other being, the 30% being the process. So that's how the audience has rated it today. All right, let's move on. As we understand, sales team performance is the key driver that's pulling down the entire sales operation performance. And it's not the case just with you. 80% of the organizations are troubled with that. 80% of the organizations in one of the survey that has been conducted by Aberdeen Group have rated sales team productivity as the key driver to pull down the entire sales operation performance. So this is the first lever of your sales operation that has maximum impact on your sales operation efficiency. So let us see, as I mentioned, let us see what's happening around the globe with respect to the sales productivity. So according to a service and a 20-80 rule as well, only about 20% of your team is top performers who often meet or exceed quota, leaving a majority of your sales team with room for improvement. That's the culprit, your sales team skills. Therefore, optimizing sales team productivity should be one of the most important aspects for you to focus on. Study shows that industry-wide sales team productivity is continually on decline. While many organizations are growing their sales team and increasing their revenue goals, they aren't scaling the sales productivity. Let's take a look at some of the challenges that are highlighted by them. Sales team productivity is the #1 challenge for almost 67% of the B2B organizations. So you are not alone here. The average sales rep spends only 15% of their time engaging with the prospects or the customer. Well, that means that your sales team is productive only for 15% of the time, and 85% of the time it's unproductive. 2/3 of the sales rep fail to reach their annual sales quota. That's Aberdeen Group. And Time Trade says since 2015, sales quota has risen by 33. It was risen by 33%, but the percentage of sales reps hitting quota has fallen by 25%. And the last but not the least, quite stunning and surprising element of this survey done by DOMO, call it DOMO. The average sales rep spends over 50 full days away from core selling activities each year. Well, that's close to like sitting idle for 2 months. That definitely will result in no sales. So you see, the culprit is the sales team skill, sales team performance. This is the top reason why your business is failing to make maximum revenue. Let's check out these drivers that are driving sales team unproductivity and driving businesses, business owners, and managers crazy. So the top sales team performance challenges. What are these drivers that drives unproductivity? You're going to see some cartoons appear on screen. You can just pay attention to their faces. You're going to know that there are some very satisfied, some averagely satisfied, dissatisfied, and really angry girl over there. So that's overall your sales team. As I said, 20% of your sales team is high performing. Rest 80% just fall into average and below average. So the top drivers that drives unproductivity or prohibit sales productivity are right activity. That's the one. Right process, right training, and right motivation. I'm going to explore each one of these and it will make sense to you in the coming slides. Just don't go by the names. These are those levers of your sales team. If you could set them in rhythm, then you can convert your sales team flop show into rock show. In the coming slides, I will showcase you how each of these is hindering your growth and how you can set them right. Till then, just remember that there are 4 top challenges that you need to set it right. Right activity, right process, right training, and right motivation. So let's get started with right activity. 80% of the organizations that I have consulted and teams I have trained, I have seen a common pattern with all of them. In all the organizations, sales reps are assumed to handle the entire sales cycle, right from generating leads through cold calling, email marketing, or field sales, what is it called, on the feed sales. And they, right from lead generation, they are expected to close the sale. So go take it through presentations, negotiations, and then closing, right? Now, this is the case regardless of their education, their market experience, their product experience. And this is one primary reason that we have figured out why the sales reps fails to be productive. See, we need to understand that sales industry in India is unlike sales industry in West that we see today. In West, sales rep reads a lot, undergo a lot of self-chosen training programs. Even organizations organize frequent sales training workshops, intensive skill-based sales training programs, and frequent motivational workshops as a part of their culture. But here in India, the story is totally different. We just hire freshers from tech background for sales, or we hire experienced people without any onboarding training or any such stuff, and we expect them to perform right from the day one and handle the entire sales cycle. And this is what bringing down the whole performance. You see, here the best option is we should play to our strengths. How can we do that? You know, this is possible if we could identify their natural skills and harness it to its maximum potential. Just to give you an example here, if your sales team, your sales team will have multiple different individuals will have multiple skills. You just need to identify their natural skills. So if you have a guy who is good with data mining and lead generation, you see that he's not able to handle the full sales cycle, but he's pretty good with data mining or lead generation. You can use him to mine your data for the star sellers that you have in the team. He can generate leads and pass it on to them, and your star sellers can handle those. If you see someone is having exceptional dialing or communication skills, use him for cracking into the accounts. And rest of the sales cycle can be passed on to someone more matured and skilled to handle that, right? So he can talk to the decision makers and then convince him in the first conversation and just pass on the rest of the things to the other experienced sellers. In fact, we experimented this in one of our consulting sessions. I guess it was with the Axis Bank. We were consulting them and we identified one of the person who was their star communicator. Like he was pretty good with opening the call, talking to the decision makers, mainly CEOs, and give a very good verbal presentation of the product. but he was not able to make any sales. All we did is we just lifted off that burden off his shoulder of lead nurturing, qualification, presentation, negotiation, stuff like that. And we just experimented to see how it goes when he handles only the first conversation. And the results were phenomenal. Like he ended up warming up 85% of the leads that was given to him, which was phenomenal. And their revenue, it was up by like 35%. If you have, some people are very good spies. I mean, they can spy and build information on competition and on accounts. So probably you can use them in cracking into those competition accounts. So you have a competitor, you have their customers, you can use him to crack into those accounts, create a separate service line for him, and just hand him over that opportunity and use him for that. Or probably you have great relationship builders, so you can just take off the burden of lead generation from them and let them handle that lead nurturing, relationship building. Similarly, some are great presenters, great negotiators. So this was a great negotiator we had. I had when I was handling a team with one of my past employers. So I figured out there was one great negotiator was there in my team, and in rest of the activities he was very lazy. That was his natural skill. He was not interested. So all I did is I did not involve him into any lead generation, qualification, or presentation stages. All he was doing is negotiations for me. And he was so good with negotiations that majority of the negotiations that he handled, he got converted with very less discount, maximum profit margins. So you have different types of skills. All you need to do is identify and use those skills. So this is a key takeaway: identify the natural skills and maximize its use. You can natural skill can be used for a primary responsibility, as I mentioned above, and you can also add some secondary responsibility to for maximum utilization of that guy. But you have to carefully choose that secondary responsibility. So this is the key takeaway for the right activity. Let's take a look at the second driver, which is the right process. Now, I would like to highlight that in my previous engagement with my clients, most of them I have found about frowning over sales team utilizations. All I hear them saying is, I don't know what the team does, but we hardly have any meetings set up with the customers. We have hired 5 experienced guys, experienced salespeople, and we have handed over this responsibility of sales to them, but they're mere, hardly doing any, hitting up any opportunities for them. Well, you hired experienced salespeople. Is that not good enough? My only response will be, you're over expecting. You cannot expect your baller to understand pitch and weather complexities, team strategies, competition strategies. You need to prepare the field for them to play on it and perform. If you will expect your ballers to do the coach and captain job for you, they will fail without a doubt. So don't overburden them. Simplify their job, and then they will do miracles for you. So it is your job to simplify the things for them. And that's how you can raise the utilization. So first and foremost, you need to simplify. Identify the key roadblocks into their activities. Carefully monitor all their activities and see if they have quality databases to follow or quality leads to follow. Set their individual goals for them. So once you set their individual goals, they have a clear vision how to reach to that, and probably help them with the tips to achieve it. Study their entire sales process and modify it, simplify it. So you might have 6 or 7 stages in your sales process that you can reduce, probably, or you can modify, such as if you have field presentations, probably you can convert it to online presentations. Your customers might like it because it's hassle-free, it's easy, right? Or you can disconnect negotiations from your team and pass it on to the senior guys, and your sales team let it focus on mainly on lead generation and lead nurturing. Just dissect negotiations, maximize their utilization to simplify things. Avoid frequent meetings with them, training sessions with them. Secure their golden hours. Like many of the times I have seen, as we have seen in one of the survey also, 15% of the time sales teams spend on core selling activities. Why? Because most of the time they are not hitting their golden hours. Golden hours is something which is the best time to reach the customer. So if you look at the Indian time schedule, I would say between 9:30 to 12 o'clock pre-noon, and from 2:30 to 5:30 or 5 o'clock. These are the golden hours when you have a maximum opportunity to talk to a customer over the phone, and he will be responding to you. These are the golden hours. So they should be able to secure their golden hours. You should make sure they should not be on phone, they should not be writing email, they should not be doing any unproductive task of data mining or organizing their calendars, organizing their pipeline and stuff like that. They should be only focusing on sitting on that phone, sitting on that any sales activity that you haven't, talking to the customer. So that's how you simplify things. Or probably if you have a support team, you can dissect the support task on them. All that you can do to simplify. And whatever you cannot simplify, try to automate it. So identify the activities that can be automated, such as follow-ups. Yeah, if they are doing email follow-ups or follow-ups to a dead accounts, inactive accounts, these kind of activities takes a lot of efforts and time and actually produce limited results. So probably you can put in place a CRM or email software, or if you have your sales team needs more information about decision makers, there are many tools like Simplify and all that gives you a lot of information about they can be integrated into your email campaign and stuff like that, and they kind of derive a lot of information from LinkedIn and other sources and give information about the user and their activities. So that way you can automate things. So they don't have to search or research about their prospects and stuff like that, right? There are many tools available. And that the things that you cannot automate, delegate. So all you need to do is identify those activities that are unproductive and delegate it to others. For example, email marketing. If they're sending follow-up emails, that can be delegated to your marketing team. Preparing proposals can be delegated to your accounting team. Data mining, call organizing, you can use someone else for these kind of things. So there are many stages, such as sales proposals are one, which are of not high importance in the sales process, but do take efforts. So these can be delegated to different teams, and you can maximize the productivity of the team. So dissect and delegate is the best policy and will increase the momentum. So with this, let's, meanwhile, we have many participants have been asking questions. So I'm gonna just check out some of the questions that has been raised by them. Yeah, Harsha, so can we have those questions from the team?
Yeah, Amit. So the first question is, how do you measure sales productivity? And I just want to add my thing also. Is sales productivity is against MQL or SQL?
Okay. So sales productivity is the overall efficiency measurement of the sales operation. If you have to measure the sales productivity, the simple and quick way is take all your cost into account that you're investing on sales operation, like salaries, like perks, like incentives you're giving to your sales team, all that, or tools, the investments you're making in the tools and technologies. Just add up all these 4 different costs or any other costs that are involved in sales operation, and then look at the revenue that your sales team is making and just divide the sales revenue by the sales cost or the investment that's been made. That would let you know what is your sales productivity. And regarding your question, is it SQL or MQL? Basically, it takes into account both, because ultimately we are looking at the revenue. We're not looking at the one simple aspect of lead generation.
Okay. So we'll go with our next question. What sales experience is better? Is it B2C or B2B?
All right. I guess this question is in the context of, I guess you are a B2B organization and you want to know, can I take B2B or B2C or both I can employ these sales professionals. In that context, you see, I would always recommend B2B. And there is a reason behind B2B. For our audience, B2C is business to consumers, and B2B is business to business. So sales people that are coming from a B2C background, see B2C nature of the beast is different in that you have products. These are fast moving products like television, like oranges, or like shaver and stuff like that, where uh, audience or the target audience, the purchaser, the buyers already understand those products, and the salespeople role is limited to kind of order taker. He just explain a little bit about the product and then he just takes the order. So he's more of an order taker. Whereas in B2B, this is an entirely different ball game. B2B sales guys, they have to build trust with the decision makers. They have to explain the products thoroughly. They have to have an understanding of decision maker business, their challenges. They should have presentation skills, negotiation skills. A lot of things are there. So it's always for B2B, it's always to have B2B experienced sales guys.
Well, our next question is a very interesting one. It is something which we take it as a very common tool. It's about cold calling. My team is struggling to generate leads through cold calling. Is it really dead?
Well, majority of the decision makers I talk, there is this rumor that cold calling is dead. Cold calling is not dead, and cold calling is still the most effective way to generate qualified leads very quickly and very effectively. And this is the only tool where it's quick to reach and quick to deliver. For all those gurus that are saying cold calling is dead, it is not dead. Compare it with say email marketing. Email marketing, you have to send an email. You don't know whether it is read or not read unless you have a good analytic tool, and it takes a lot of time to respond. You don't even know whether it is delivered or not, for heaven's sake. So cold calling, compared with LinkedIn, compared with other social sites, it takes a lot of time to warm up a decision maker over these tools. Whereas in LinkedIn, whereas in cold calling, if you could reach the decision maker and if you are good enough to explain about your product and create an interest, you can have a quick revenue. So cold calling is always the best, but shouldn't be the only tool that you're using.
Well, the next one is about sales process. How to best set the sales process?
Well, we're going to discover it in our next slides, but the whole idea is the sales process should be very simplified. It should not be a burden. So what you take into account is how your customer would like to be engaged. So you take a look at the customer experience. If your customer first step is, are they available on phone, or are they available on email, or are they available on social? That becomes your first lead generation activity. Second activity is, do they like presentations, or do they directly want to have a product trial? Or do they really want to have someone walk into their office and give the presentation? That becomes your second stage. Third stage is, should you directly push a sales proposal, or should you have some negotiations in place and stuff like that, or both combined in one stage? That's how you set the sales process. We're going to take a look at it in upcoming slides. So, but it should be the simplest one. It should support your sales productivity, not hamper your sales productivity.
Well, next one is, what CRM do you recommend?
Oh, there are many. HubSpot is there. HubSpot, Zoho. There are many. HubSpot I personally like and recommend to everyone.
Okay. What are the best email campaign solutions do you suggest?
There are many. And one I faintly remember is the SurveyMonkey, I guess. Yeah, that's the one. So always go with the repeated one. That's important, because you would like to have a maximum delivery rate, which these guys make sure. So that is very important. When you're evaluating any email marketing tool, make sure it's highly repeated, because it ensures highest delivery of your emails. Their domains are not blacklisted. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Amit. Next, we'll move on to the other slides.
Meanwhile, Ashwin has raised his hand. So Ashwin, I'm going to unmute you, and you can ask a
Hello,
question.
am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so I just have a couple of questions for now. For
Mhm.
example, what is the best way to sell something that is already being used by the customer? For example, if they are already using a type of software, and if I'm planning to sell the software with some kind of first thing is I need to understand what the customer wants. Basically, if I'm new to the market, for example, if I'm building a kind of CRM solution and they are already using CRM, is it advisable that I go to the customer and ask them what features would you like to be added? And then when I come back to my development and develop them, is it a advisable methodology? That is my first question. And the second
Mhm.
one is actually I plan to make kind of a CRM. It's not a complete CRM, it's a module whereby you can automatically not just have a kind of list of um, reps or a list of leads, but also you can interactively SMS out them or WhatsApp them immediately from the software tool. So I had a plan of building such kind of thing. So what do you think or what do you expect from those things? So
Okay.
these are my two questions.
Mhm. So let's take up the first question, Ashwin. So
Yes.
how do you approach your customers who are already using a CRM, right? What is the best methodology? See, first thing first is when you're building a solution, I'm not sure if it's already in place. You have to focus on a key differentiation, right? How you would be different from those others that are available in the market, or if you're competing with any particular solution, how you're better than this. And all that you have to do, or your as a CEO, as your product development team, as your sales team, is focus on that unique differentiation. That's in terms of selling. Or if you're looking for inputs like, okay, I'm already in a process of building, what is the better way to go around it, right? Getting inputs, how should we develop that product from customer
Yes.
inputs? If that is your question, my recommendation would be, there are you should approach any market researcher. Okay, they are the best. They already hold a large amount of database, and they keep doing surveys across the customers. So all you have to do is just find a market researcher and just give him that survey, that we want to know what are the best, what are the features they would like. And all they will do is they'll do a survey and let you know what are the typical pain points. These guys are very good with surveys. They know how to put it across, how to get those inputs. They already have a database in place. You can on your own you can do a research, but your reach will be very limited, and the inputs will be very limited out of your network. I mean, and those can be biased if you know those people already, because nobody would like to say bad things on the face, right? This is one human mentality. So my recommendation would be approach a market research.
Okay. And for the second one,
What was your second question? I lost the track.
uh, yeah, no problem. So instead of using a tool just for listing out the leads, is it convenient or would it be a competitive advantage if we could SMS them or WhatsApp them immediately from the tool?
Okay. Okay.
So, for
See.
example, if you're having a CRM and
Mhm.
you'll be having a kind of who and what, so when can I follow up with them? And it's something like a super powered spreadsheet. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
so if I could integrate features like emailing, or if I could integrate features like SMS, whereby the end user can not just see the CRM and do the work, but can do the work from the tool itself. So would that be a positive advantage?
It will be. Well, you're integrating multiple channels at the same time. User is getting a quick response. That's very important. as per one of the survey, the sales members who have approached the customers within the next half an hour after a customer has reached out to them have they stand 75% of the chances of getting that lead into sale.
Okay. So, which market researcher would you recommend, or
Um,
who
um,
would
um,
be the good market researcher organization, or from where I can give these kinds of market researchers?
we can take it up offline. I can recommend market researchers for you. Okay. So
Okay.
you can drop me a mail at inquiry@dishaconsultants.com, and
Okay.
my team would be happy to list the first top 3 market researchers for you. Okay. After the
Okay.
research, after understanding your product, we would be happy to recommend it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Uh,
Amit.
yeah, sure. So we have Sai also raised his hand. Um, yes, Sai, go ahead and ask your question.
Can you hear me, Amit?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Amit, I wanna know. Firstly, you said that identify what this guy can do, and then allocate work accordingly. That's
Mm-hmm.
a real eye opener, man. I mean, it makes the whole process very simple. You find out what they're capable of, and let them do what they can do.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I want to know. The question is basically, you said 20% of the people are top performers,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you actually create top performers, and does a company really depend on top performers? Because what you were saying was if you identify the individuals and then allocate task accordingly, does it mean that the company doesn't have to depend on the top performers? And if not, my question is basically, how do you actually create the top performers?
Mm-hmm. All right. See, how do you create top performers is there are multiple steps involved in it. First is you identify and let them play to their natural skills. Now, if they're going to play to their natural skills in their preferred domain, they will outperform. And the second thing is eliminate their weaknesses. That can happen only if you can get specific skill specific training delivered to them very frequently. I mean, continuously. That's more important, where they learn new things and they explore new things and they try new things and they get better and better each time. So that is how you create sales performers. Uh, it is very sad that in our organization culture, sales is always taking a back seat, and that is why you have very few sales top performers, practically one or two, and they only turn out to be the sales managers and then go beyond. Because we have never ever we very rarely try to arrange frequent trainings and get their weaknesses out of the way. So these are the two-step process. First is you let them play to their natural skill. Second is you eliminate their weaknesses by arranging skill-specific training, not motivational gyans that typically happen with the sales training. See, what we deliver is skill-specific training, and that is what you need for the guys eliminate their weaknesses.
Okay, and is it important for a company to have the top performers?
Absolutely. Well, they are the one who outperform, exceed quotas, and get you excellent revenues. You need them. At least 50% of your team, 60% of your team should be the top performers, and then you're gonna have a lot of money printed per year.
Okay, you were saying that 20% of the people are top performers and the remaining 80 are average and below average.
Yeah.
What is the contribution of these 20% and the remaining 80% to the overall sales productivity?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got it, man. So I want to know the contribution 20% make for the productivity, the sales productivity.
It exactly converts into the revenue. So 20% of the top sales performers brings 80% of the revenue, and 80% of
Are you
the
serious? Wow.
yes, that's one of the Aberdeen Group surveys, and 80% of your sales team only bring 20% of the revenue.
All right. Yeah,
okay,
cool.
so
Thanks.
let's sure. Thank you very much, Sai, for asking those insightful questions, and everyone else. It was an interesting session. Let's move on and check out the third lever that affect your sales team productivity, and that's one of the crucial one again, right training. So I was already mentioning in one of the questions, in numerous times I have come across clients who have organized multiple training sessions for their teams, but hardly see any progress made by the team. And this is sheerly due to the lack of understanding of the sales nature by the decision makers, and I don't blame them. Majority of the decision makers, owners are from the tech background, and they already have a lot on their plate. But there is a different aspect to it. There has been no push from the sales managers also for continuous training for their team. Now this results in a deadlock and no progress for the team. Moreover, there have been so many general training solutions that are available in the market today that focuses on sales motivation. I mean, sales motivation is good for the team, but it's not good enough to solve the real time challenges that your sales team faces when they are performing on the field. Something like how to open the call with the decision maker and win his attention in the first 30 seconds. How to be seen as a consultant and advisor by the customer to earn his trust and not to be seen as a salesman. How to talk about the product features such that it connects to customer pain points or business challenges and not to be seen as a blatant product pitch. How to convince multiple decision makers at once, how to overcome their objections related to product, competition, pricing, discounts, and a hell lot. How to qualify leads to understand his business potential, challenges, and buying motivators. And finally, how to be a closer and not just an order taker. The closer who always push for closing the deal at every stage and not just helping customers with whatever questions they have. So if you're just going to help customers with whatever questions they ask, you're not pushing them for closing the deal. You're not making proactive efforts, and that's where you lose most of the deals. So you need skill specific training that solves the real challenges and prepare them to face decision makers of any level, whether it is CEOs, CFOs, or second level or third level of management that you're dealing with, and win all the deals by providing information that has some significance and impact on customer buying process. So the key takeaway is continuous coaching. So many times I have seen the training is being delivered to the team only when you face problems. So there isn't any point in taking painkillers when you have a headache. You should always be precautionary. The training is precautionary. So when you onboard a sales team, whether they're freshers or whether they are experienced, onboarding training is what you should deliver at that time. So they are up to speed. They should not take like 3 to 6 months to be delivering or to be performing, right? And then in the middle, frequent every 3 months, you should be organizing some skill specific training to eliminate their weaknesses or the roadblocks that they are facing. Then and only then you would be making a highly productive team. So skill specific training is the next one. That's the key takeaway from this slide. Let's go out and see what is the last lever of your sales productivity, the right motivation. So this is the last piece of the puzzle, but a very important one. You may create many star performers with the above guidelines that I have mentioned in this slide deck. But look at it this way. There isn't any point in building a sand castle on the beach when you know it is going to be washed away. So yes, there is nothing more sick than having an employee in the team who has lost interest or do not find any motivation to work in an organization. Ultimately, he's not going to perform. So you need to make sure your sales team stays motivated in the game. Its primary drivers are having individual goals and progression plans. So every individual should be assigned a target and a progression plan. He should clearly know if he meets these targets, then that's how he's gonna grow to the next level. What is his next level? What is his third level? So each member should understand what is expected of them and what would they receive if they achieve it. Having an aggressive incentive plan in place. that motivates members to outperform, go extra mile to meet and exceed their quotas. Kind of provoke their creative juices to hit the milestones. That's important. Many organizations I have seen that they have incentive plans in place, but they aren't aggressive, right? They don't show that salespeople can make this much money. Whereas the nature of the sales is salespeople should be making double the money in incentive than their salary. And these incentive plans that they have in place, they are generic. They're not even focused. So let me give you an example. I mean, imagine your sales incentive plans should focus on solving a business problem, a business challenge. Otherwise it's just like riding a boat with a hole. You're sinking. That's it. So let's say if you're a startup company and your primary business challenge is to have lead generation, to have qualified leads in place. Forget about sales right now. We should be talking to customers. That's your primary challenge. Then you should. There isn't any point in having an incentive plan that focus on sales. How many sales a person can bring? It should focus on lead generation. If you're a matured organization and you're struggling with your sales team is struggling to bring, let's say they are bringing in sales, but you have to give heavy discounts to get those sales. That is their weakness. Then you should have a incentive plan organized in such a way that targets that particular thing. That you should bring sale, but not with much of the discounts. You should focus on profit margins that time. So the incentive plan should solve a business challenge. And the last piece being the feedback. Now this is a very simple word, but it has a lasting impact. Proactive feedback is like a precaution to a chronic disease. So if you're going to give feedback to your sales team or individuals frequently, proactively, then it keeps them motivated. It lets them know that this is their weakness and they have to solve it. And if they cannot solve it, they just let you know and you organize a training for them. But if you're going to give feedback when the damage has already been done, it doesn't make any sense. So deliver timely feedback about their progress and organizing proactive training sessions to eliminate their weaknesses and focus your incentive plans on growth and incentives. These are the direct levers for right motivation. So you should have right motivation in place. So these are the four critical levers that drives your sales productivity. And let me just go ahead and summarize it. So here it is summarized, the sales productivity model. First is to measure. If you cannot measure it, you cannot control it. And if you cannot control it, you cannot improve it. As simple as that. So measure your sales productivity through these critical matrices. First, related to demand generation. These are qualified leads. So how many teleprospecting qualified leads you are getting? That's through phone. Pay attention to that qualified word. Qualified is interested here. Having a lead and having a qualified lead, there is a hell lot of difference between the two. So you should be measuring your sales productivity performance on qualified leads. Marketing qualified leads and their win rate, sales generated leads and their win rate is the prime matrices. Activities. Now based on sales activities, number of calls and emails they are making, that let you know the utilization part of it, number of meetings they are having, again it's related to utilization, number of decision maker interactions. Now they might be talking on phone all the time, they might be emailing, but they are not getting past the gatekeepers. What's the point? It's not going to convert into sales. So number of decision makers interactions is very important, and selling time, the time they are taking to sell an item, that is the sales cycle. So 3 months, 6 months, 1 month, these kind of performance matrices. The third part of it is pipeline. So in their pipeline, how many win rates they are getting? What is the qualified leads to quota or proposal that he is sending? Opportunities per rep that he is generating, average sales cycle, win percentage per rep, and forecast accuracy. So if a guy is saying in this month he's going to make $100,000 of sale, that's his forecast. How much he is achieving it? That's also important. So measure is the first part of it. That's there in the gray color. Now the second one is the ongoing coaching. It's so much critical to improve your sales team performance that you should organize frequent training sessions. You should slice and dice your sales process to simplify it so that it can advance the prospect faster. So your prospects from first stage should move very quickly to the second stage, should very quickly move to the third stage. That should be the goal. And that's how you should slice and dice your sales process. For that, you need to evaluate and re-evaluate your sales process. This is an ongoing effort. You should keep evaluating and re-evaluating your sales process. Enable sales reps with tools and technologies. It's automating. So don't hesitate to automate. That's required. Otherwise, all the investments of time and effort will go down the drain. Make matrices matters. So by having matrices in place, the matrices I have highlighted is important, but you should follow them, continuously track them. That's also important. And that's account for the smart work. Smart work will definitely lead to a highly productive sales engine where you have to invest less efforts and get the maximum revenue out of it. And that's what it should be your ultimate goal. Well, with that, I come to the end of this slide deck. We have a few questions from participants here. Harsha, if you could read those.
Well, Amit, that's a great session. Okay, now we'll go ahead with questions. This one is a very interesting question. I'm almost a decade old in sales. I always worry about this point. How to convince our CEO for sales training? I'm almost a decade in this sales.
Well, I am a salesman, a hardcore salesman, so I'm going to answer it that way. Sell the fear. So if you could sell the fear to your CEO, he is going to approve all trainings that you want. Show him the forecast. Let him know how much money your team is going to make this month or this quarter, and then things will fall in place. Sell the fear. That's how you do it. I used to do it. I used to let my CEO know that this is what the investments are, this is what the forecast is looking, and this is what the target you have given me. We are way beyond our target. We need training. We have these many people struggling to make sales, and I don't have any hopes on them unless you want to organize a training. That's the simple answer.
Okay. Well, most of the companies will do common training programs. Now the question is, can we try different sales training programs?
Well, you can try. I won't recommend that, to be frank with you, because you have to see when the first training session is organized, what is the connect between the sales team and the sales trainer? I mean, is he really able to connect to your team? If he's able to connect, then you should, and then the training is actually making any progress, then you should continue with that trainer alone or that program alone. Because if you're going to try different trainings and the trainer is unable to connect with your sales team at an emotional level or at any level, then there isn't any point that sales training will deliver. So you should try a different sales training program first to zero down on what delivers the most, and then you should continue with it.
Well, which is better training? Online sales training or classroom training?
Well, it actually depends upon how mature your sales team is to take that kind of training. I don't see any difference in the both. But if you're you have a sales team that's performing well and you need just refresher training for them, online training will do. Otherwise, it's always classroom training is better because face to face, nothing can beat that.
Okay. This is an interesting question. We have organized 1 day and 2 day sales training programs, but haven't seen any progress.
As I said, these mostly the sales training programs are focused on at a motivational level. This is good, but that motivation only lasts for a month or two. You need skill specific training, and that's what you need. That's what's going to make a difference to you.
Okay. Now this is again on my favorite topic. Sales is struggling to convert cold leads. How can we manage that?
Okay, so I guess that's cold calling leads, cold calling team you're talking about, which is struggling to convert cold leads into qualified leads. They are facing, they can be facing multiple challenges. First of all, you have to zero down on the actual problem. This is not a problem. The real problem is, are they able to connect to the decision maker? Are they able to go past the gatekeeper and connect to the decision maker? If they are not doing that, that is your problem. Then they should learn how to get past the gatekeepers and connect to the decision maker. If they are talking to the decision makers, are they able to make a connect in the first 30 seconds? If not, then that is your problem. And if they are able to make a connect and still you don't have any qualified leads in your funnel, then the problem is altogether different. They are not making the right pitch to the customer. So there can be multiple challenges. You need to zero down on that.
Okay. You have mentioned selling time. How to measure it?
Selling time is nothing but your sales cycle. So you just need to see on an average, take all the leads and calculate their entry time into the sales funnel and the date on which they got converted into sales for all the leads, and take average time, and that becomes your selling time or your sales cycle. So if a lead has entered on 1st of October and it got converted on 1st of November, so like sales cycle becomes, selling time becomes 1 month, like that. So take it for all the leads, average it, and you will know what is your average sales cycle.
Well, on selling time, I've been in an industry where the selling time is anywhere between 3 days to even 3 years. So selling time really depends on what kind of sales you're doing. Okay, now we are going to the next question. Should I just use social sites like LinkedIn and Facebook for lead generation?
See, I won't recommend that alone. LinkedIn and Facebook, they are social sites. They are more of awareness creator about your brand. Now, awareness is different to lead generation. So lead generation are typically done, the first channel and the foremost, most effective channel is cold calling, email marketing. LinkedIn and Facebook are more of awareness creator. They should be part of your strategy. Your sales team should be using it. So it is something like most of the day they do cold calling and create leads. Some part of the day they can dedicate to LinkedIn and Facebook and create awareness, so that those leads can be warmed up about your brand and product, and one day they can be converted into leads. So it should be a combined strategy. You should not depend on one channel.
Well, Amit, really like the webinar. Can you please also conduct a webinar on incentive models?
Thanks for those nice words. Sure, we have plans to do that in the coming weeks. You will see it. So all you guys have to do is connect to us. You can connect to us on meetup.com, where we have our business and sales strategy group, where we announce all the upcoming events. Or you can be on our website, dishaconsultants.com. You can subscribe to the updates and you will receive it. And we will be doing a lot of webinars in our upcoming weeks. So just stay connected. We will do one of the webinar on incentive models also. So I see a couple of guys have raised hands also. Sai is there. I'll go and unmute you.
Hi, Amit.
Hi, Sai.
Hi, Amit. My question is, in every sales company, there'll be a few top sales performers, but they don't know how to train the other guys. They're not good at public speaking. They're not good at basically explaining how they do it. So, do you think if we pick these top performers and help them to speak their mind, and over a period of time they can become really good trainers who can actually connect with the sales team, as opposed to somebody coming from outside and giving some training? We need to
Mm-hmm.
spot these top guys and
Mm-hmm.
find a way to help them express their techniques.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, to answer this question, Sai, it should be a regular activity that your top performers should be talking to your team all the time. So you should arrange off the bat frequent sessions with say top performers to share their techniques. That's good habit, and that's how you can bring up your rest of the team up to the speed. They can become trainers, they cannot become trainers. Training is altogether a different ball game, and trainers like me and others, they do a lot of research, a lot of preparations, and they bring in a lot of industry standards at the same time. So you should try a combination of both, and that's how you get the best of both worlds. That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
So, any more question, guys? So, like, we are. Any other questions, Sai? I'm sorry, I forgot to ask.
No, nothing. I mean, there was a great presentation. I mean, it was really nice, very informative.
Thank you so much. So, I'm just gonna quickly introduce you to Disha. That's my company. So, we are a business strategy, sales consulting, and training firm. We have been awarded top consulting firm by Consultant Review magazine. We have trained sales professionals across the globe. In sales consulting and training, we do all kind of training and consulting across different industry verticals, different customers, portfolios, and even the sales managers training, sales team training inside of field sales, domestic or international, across any vertical. We do all that. That's one thing. And we deliver skill specific training. So we kind of zero down on your sales team problems and we fix it. This is the book I have written. So you can see over there down Amit Sharma, Sales Decoded. This is a very good sales strategy book meant for sales teams, not for sales managers. It is for the sales team. So you can recommend this book to your sales team, and it covers right from lead generation to how to be a brand ambassador and not just a salesman. How to be the brand ambassador of your brand and convince customers like within few minutes. That's the whole goal of it. These are advanced e-learning courses that you will find on my website. So we have online courses also in case your sales team training is distributed and cannot take classroom training. You can recommend e-learning courses to them on our website. For all kind of skills, we have courses in place. And that's how you can reach us. If you have any questions, you can just write it to us. You can connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn. We are everywhere. We are actually social too, so don't worry about it. So that brings me towards the end of this session. Any questions you can shoot now, and otherwise we'll meet next week for another session. So stay connected to us on Meetup, and if you like this session, do put a word on Meetup so that can motivate others also to join the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Hmm?